Everybody, welcome back to the Quantum Show. Thank you for coming in. So many people filed in early. Welcome. Blue Chicken came in and he likes turtles. Alrighty then. Rachel Andrews Flick, our own OB2, Sarah Stafford, DJ Tim, and I believe that's everybody right at the moment. So, welcome back to the Quantum Show. Y'all, it has been a heck of a week, let me tell you. I had so much happen, all of it weird, all of it perfect for here. And this is a personal experience show, so we're going to expound on it some. And one topic kind of spanned several weeks, and I have been avoiding it because it was an ongoing thing, and it's kind of still ongoing, but I can still talk about it. Okay, I have a friend who was in all kinds of bad relationships and seemed to keep doing it over and over again. Wouldn't hear me out. And I'm like, okay, hey, Joe, welcome back, Joe. And okay, I'm just going through the week because I don't need any more material. I don't need to pick a topic at random because this stuff is right in my face, just like this camera. But this friend of mine, had a not so I call it a fighting chance to get out of this situation. Okay, and the universe started talking to her. The most obvious thing was she went to a bus stop, and after everyone left, after everything was gone, and her bus hadn't gotten there yet to pick her up, there was a pair of shoes that was ready for her more or less her size, with thick socks, whatever. And if that's not the universe saying, I mean, brand new almost, if that's not the universe saying, here, you'll need this to walk away from everything you're into right now. That really is. That's damn near being beat over the head by reality, okay? That's a sign, very obvious. Okay, and then let me see here. That was one thing. And now link in the description, Gemma Jade. Go give her a like. Go subscribe. She's excellent. She's a psychic tarot card reader. And she does. Right as I was about to take her to the bus stop to go to this new location, right? She came on. I didn't know it. I just clicked on it, and there she was. Okay. So I went on and I got permission, of course. She was sitting here. Gemma was online. And I said, hey, how about a reading for my friend here? And link is in the description for it too. So, I went over there, I took her with me, basically sitting here at the computer, right? And I'm going to show you her channel. All right. Let me get back to her channel. And I do suggest you like and subscribe. This lady is 100% right. And she nailed her so hard, every bit. And here's what she did. Now, the link is in the description, but I will summarize not the facts of it, but how she did it. She started out with pulling a card, reading what the card says, partially picking out from mental ability what's going on and linking it to this. Linking it to her, right? Linking it to my friend. And then she went and read another something, more linking, but then she went total psychic, total empathic. Didn't even look at the card after that. From the minute she pulled, she was she uses different decks like Amy does. Shout out, Good Morning UFO. And she pulled light and dark. And I'm like, already it's her. light and dark, stark contrast, fully light, fully dark, stark contrast. Okay. And from that moment forward, I knew she was in for a ride. And then she read the card, and it was, kind of like what you expect from a tarot card definition. And it was, hey, Aussie, welcome back to the Quantum Show. Aussie Boss in the house. In the quantum realm with us right now. Okay. But she, Gemma Jade, somebody from here was there when I was there. I forget who it was. Hey, Storm. But Joe, was that you? Were you there when we were over there yesterday? I think I saw you over there, or I saw somebody here that comes here and goes to see Gemma. Anyway, she read the card, and it was how you would expect. It was a little bit vague. Could have, if you think about it, and you be creative about it, that could fit you. But then she went full psychic, full empathic, and she nailed her so hard. And the card she pulled was the Three Sisters of Fate. Okay. And oh yeah, what was I going to do? I was going to share the screen. This is Gemma's channel. I highly recommend you like and subscribe. Go over there, give her a subscription, watch her videos, hit like, leave a comment. Please do. Okay. Because she just, hey, Renee, she is a beautiful soul. Okay. She is. And I forget where I first heard her talking. I think she was on Bigfoot Michigan Rob. Shout out BMR. Not sure. It was either Bigfoot Michigan Rob or Michigan UFOs and Paranormal. Shout out Wayne and Michelle. Lots of shout outs. But okay, she nailed her so fast, so hard. And it was like she was reading her soul book. And I don't know. I get that sometimes, but not all the time. Okay. Not all the time at all. And I was being a proxy to Gemma to read this friend of mine. And it was scary accurate. And so I'm like, I have been telling you this for years. You need to listen. And you need a strange woman on. Well, you need a strange woman on the internet to tell you. You got a strange dude right here telling you. No divination required on my end. I'm just seeing it. And Gemma couldn't see nothing. I wasn't on camera. It wasn't a chat show. It was scary accurate, right? Let's see. And when her mind got made up that she was going to move to this new place, everything went right. I've had experience with that. I went to LA one time from El Paso, and it was not under good pretenses. Okay. It was under selfish, mean, angry pretenses. And okay, everything that went wrong going on up there, right? No place would accept my debit card because cards were not, this was back in the 90s. So cards were not super widely accepted everywhere. Nobody would take a check. The bank phone system was having a problem. I got a flat tire. And my truck was a little white pickup truck. My truck started stalling in 80-mile-an-hour bumper-to-bumper traffic. I never want to do that again, by the way. The bumper-to-bumper 80-mile-an-hour thing in a little Mazda pickup truck. It was not fun. Even 20-something-year-old me was not fun. And then when I got there, there was nobody there. They had moved her. And I went to go see her. But she went to a different place at the last minute. Couldn't make a phone call. Couldn't talk to nobody. So I was like, oh, man, okay. Plus, it took me several hours extra to go from El Paso to LA. All right. And then check it out. On the way back, nothing went wrong. Places took my card. The phones all started working. The card did great. I didn't have to get another tire. I didn't have to rebuild anything. I didn't know what was going on with it. Those were all clear signs to me, if I had been paying attention, that I should turn around and go back. It was not going to be a good thing. And I believe the universe, whoever at the time, was working to keep me out of trouble by sabotaging my trip. Not only that, I was also, I mean, I would have been 2 hours late if I hadn't been 12 hours late. I was 12 hours behind schedule. And when you're on the right path, things work out. Good things get put in your way. Things that will help you, like those shoes got put in her right way, right there, right for her to pick up. Nobody claimed them. Nobody was there. They were just there. Oh, Tim, you know what? Normally I would agree, but that wasn't this experience. None of that stuff happened in LA. All that stuff happened up to the point. Oh, sorry. All that stuff happened up to me getting there. Else I would agree, right? But the trip back was flawless. I was not supposed to go there in the first place, and now I was back on the right path. And that was not doing what I intended to do, because it was not good, okay? Really, really not good. Hey, Pinky. So, and then, okay, now that it relates to her story, Gemma over here. Gemma, I think we might have a visitor. It keeps going over there. Say hi to my guest. No, not yet. Okay. So I was relating my story to her story, and things didn't go right here. And let me tell you, she went through New Mexico to Phoenix, okay? And she felt weird in New Mexico. She's calling me and telling me, right? On a bus. And I said, yeah. She said, everything feels weird. I'm like, yeah, you're in the literal land of enchantment. They call it that for a reason. Take lots of pictures, lots of good pictures, and let me know what you find out, because I bet you're going to catch something. I bet you're going to catch something in those pictures. If not, see something right with your own eyes. So she's starting a new chapter in her life, and things go on, right? Okay, now I put lots of stuff in the title today. That was pathway signs. I'm kind of going backwards, okay? Reality hiccups. This is a favorite one of mine, y'all. This is a favorite one of mine. Okay, I have experienced, I'm sure we have all experienced it. Like, where did I put my keys? The Mandela effect. You know, I know I put my keys here, but they're not there. I know I had them in my pocket, but they're in my jacket, type thing, right? Well, I'm not going to go over everything, but this is the one that happened just the other day. Last week, there was an event on a Saturday that I couldn't get to. And, but my other friends, it's a Legion, right? So veterans, military dudes, they were going to this other bar because there was a singing, a musician competition going on, and one of our members was competing. By the way, shout out Brooks. He made second place. Awesome. Nashville's a hard market, yo. There's lots of musicians here. Sorry. And okay, he went over there. I wasn't able to go. I wanted to, but there was just no way. You know, I just covered up with stuff. But a friend of mine did. Another friend of mine did, and they took a lot of pictures. And I looked at all the pictures. I have told the person that took the pictures, "Hey, I saw Josh in your pictures. Those are awesome." And well, she hadn't talked to me yet, right? She's busy. She's back at work. So she's a Legion person, okay? She took all those pictures and Josh was in them. All right. I go talk to Josh yesterday, a week later. Now, I clearly remember seeing these pictures. I reviewed them a couple times throughout, the beginning of the week of Monday, Tuesday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, whatever. I went over there, right? Talked to Josh, and he said, "Oh, well, I wasn't able to go." So I'm like, "What are you talking about? I saw you in pictures." She took pictures and you were in them. He says, "No, I wasn't there. I couldn't make it. I couldn't find anybody to take care of my daughter for me to go." It's like, yo, hold on a second. You weren't there. I saw you in these pictures. I went back today or yesterday to look at the pictures. He's not in them. Here's why it's distinctly remembering him, why it's so easy. He's okay. There's a pretty good crowd. This is Nashville. He's the only black dude there, right? That's why it's so easy to pick him out of the crowd of hillbillies and redneck veterans. Shout out hillbilly redneck veterans. Just kidding, just kidding. Great guys, of course, love them to death. But he was in that picture, and then he wasn't. Tell me that is not the most reality hopping, time hiccuping thing, reality bending event. It's up there. I'm putting that one up there with me going from interstate to interstate laterally. and that was the craziest thing. And that leads me directly to what I wanted to talk about, Project Stargate. I don't know if you all know of Project Stargate. It is the military's Cold War effort to use psychic ability to basically fight Russia without weapons, spy on Russia using psychics. They came up with remote viewing. They came up with several things that are fringe now, but they were very in vogue back in the 70s, 80s. A lot of them still are, right? Like the quantum show. I think it might be an actual a symptom or a result of that kind of activity by us military humans. Okay. Hey, Foot Clan, welcome back. I'm not sure about Project Falcon. You're asking in there. I'm going over a little bit of Project Stargate. Links in description for all this stuff that I'm talking about. I prepared this show, and I'm not going over Project Falcon right now. Not right now. Not this show, because I've had some personal experience happen, and I'm going over it, and it is so cool. And so, like I said, I talked to Josh. He's not in the pictures. I'm like, huh. That's weird because I distinctly remember, but we move on. He goes, "Nate, come here. Let me tell you something." Yeah, camera's going crazy. I'm using the pace tracker. Okay, I said, "Yeah, what's up, man?" He goes, ever since I think we got a visitor, ever since I was a little kid, from about 4 years old, he's remembered having these weird dreams. And he has remembered doing things he thought it was his dreams for a long time. And then he joined the military. And then his stuff got declassified. And then he found out he was part of this thing and other people were too. And he knows some of them. And he doesn't know them to look at them. He knows them to feel them. And we know what that is, okay? We don't know it to look at it. We know him to feel them. We feel their presence. We know their energy. We know who we're around based on that. And it's a dimension of observation. It's really hard to describe. Okay. It's really, really hard to describe because these people don't look like what they look like here over there in the astral planes, especially when they are little kids. They really don't have a self. Little kids don't have much of a self identity yet. They're still building that up. However, you get things like higher self, and we are a sliver of that higher self energy because not all of it can be contained in this, right? I believe because they weren't acting like kids over there. He told me, now this is all based on lineage. Not all, but there's a big basis on lineage. His family were, the male side of his family, going back like 250 years, was all Masons. They were all Masons up to him. He did not become a Mason. But at that point, it doesn't really matter, right? There's so much refining of the person going on. He was a product of this. And he was telling me he would now go through these dreams where he's having the same dreams as before, but now they're missions. And he would have thought, I'm just dreaming. I'm making this stuff up. This is just interesting dreams of my military background. However, another dude at the Legion corroborated it, says, I do that stuff too. Even now. They're both out, but they're even now doing it. And he was talking about times there's just too much. I want to get him on the show. Maybe not this late show, maybe an independent interview, right? There are plenty. Now, he's kind of on the spec ops side, but he's definitely on the quantum side because Project Stargate is 100% quantum, all right? So I want to get him on here so he can tell it and not get my second-rate version of it. My friend told me, right? I want to get him on here. It may not be video, it may be audio, but whatever. And let me tell you about this dude, y'all. He is just so nice to be around. It's not because he's, a former Marine or anything. You just like being. I have known a handful of people like this over my whole life so far, where you just want to be in the room with them. You want to drink whatever with them. You want to hang out. You want to talk. Even if you got nothing to talk about, you just want to sit there and like smile at them. I know we all know people like that, okay? Where we just want to be in the room. We just want to be there with them because they're so cool to be around. They fit your energy so well and they're so matching for you. Maybe not positive, but definitely. And like both of us being ex-military, we pick on each other relentlessly when we get going. There's a handful of us that all do that. But this guy, and he's a musician, he's very creative. He's written songs. He's been nominated for things in Nashville Music Writers too. So that really brought me up to and we have friends of the show that have been involved in, if not Stargate, Majestic, and several other things, right? And researchers. Two of them being now, it's like pulling hen's teeth to get them to talk about it. Mindforked, Akashi Chris, and Lynn Hurley. Both links in the description. I do recommend you go like and subscribe. There's more to these people, much more than what is even on their YouTube channel, okay? A lot of people have been chased away from this stuff because they have triggers. Those things, now, while they're in the back, they're still there, okay? And people would try to trigger her, And it's just not nice. It's not nice to do that. They want to see a meltdown on YouTube. They want to see a super space assassin come out on YouTube. And that's not going to happen. Okay. That's just not going to happen. So go check out Lynn and Chris. Links in the description. You should already know them. They're almost like required reading, right? Almost. And so those are the three people I'm going to tell you about. Well, I'm not going to say, you can go look up Lynn and Chris on your own. They're down in the description. Please go see. I've talked about Gemma. Gemma's cool. I think I saw her either on Wayne Michelle's show or Rob's show. I can't remember which one. I've seen her on several, maybe both. I don't know, maybe both. And it's been just a heck of a journey meeting all these people, you know. They're all, and we're all something that we all are. We all have a certain type of enemy that is always waiting for us, always to come out and bash us. All of us have certain people that just can't stand us. I've met these people. I don't like being around them. And they don't like being around me. And they just to go all over me, and I go all over them just by being in the same room. There is no getting along. And we all have a set of those. Hey, Diane. And Diane says, Nathan, hello, been watching more listening because I'm out working in my yard. Okay, yes, I love Mindforked, Chris and Lynn. Heck yeah. And happy belated birthday. I know I said it the other day too, somewhere else, but happy birthday, Diane. Her birthday was the other day. I will not be singing happy birthday. Hope you understand. Just be careful with the implements of yard raking and things, okay? But yeah, these guys, and now I find out that we've got Stargate guys as in the Legion with me. That's freaking awesome. I can't wait to get them on camera because I've been wanting to do a show in the backstage. I've been wanting to do a show, like a live show like this, except with two people, right? No face tracking. And do just a little interview, hang out, talk. There may be drinks on screen. So it'll be like, what do you call it? NC-17 rated? Because we're veterans, yo. And I may get them because he's the one. Josh is the weirdest story, right? But it's not the only story. And I haven't talked to the other guy. I haven't talked to him too much about that. But someone who has a look about them. And it's not exactly a haunted look, but it's a look of wisdom from being through the shit, so to speak. He's got that look about him. And while I was top secret, but let me tell you, I was administrative. There was nothing, I didn't go on doing things. I didn't do stuff, right? It was administrative because I had access to paperwork. But I will never forget the Men in Black coming after me twice and missing. And I'm like, after I realized this was real, I'm like, they're just like every other government agency, whether they got aliens, hybrids or not. They're inept and they get stuff wrong. They got the detail wrong. Where is this guy going to be? A block away? You missed me, Men in Black. By the way, like and subscribe. If you're here, you are Quantum. Talking to all the FBI, CIA, MIB, all the people listening from the ships and underground, under ocean, in bunkers, wherever you are. Like and subscribe. You're here, therefore you are Quantum. I checked. Also, aliens are not demons. I also checked. So, Aussie, yeah. I beat you to that one, though. I beat you to that one. You didn't have to say it first. I got it first. But I was kind of like late anyway. And yeah, but thanks, Aussie. the green light. You were a little bit asleep at the switch that time, but we're good. We're good. We're good. And Pinky's saying, yeah, they screw up a lot. Yeah, they do screw up. They seem to screw up a lot because a follow up to the Men in Black story, which I can't help but say that's related. We're all working for the same guys doing the same weird stuff, right? I was delivering pizza years after I got out of the Army. I was in Fort Bliss delivering a pizza there. And actually, I went to Big Spiel. Now, if you're not familiar, Big Spiel is the Army airfield behind. Now it is behind. It used to be behind Fort Bliss. Now it's incorporated. You don't even have to go over a bridge, take a gate, nothing. It's one place. But back then, it was not incorporated. It was Big Spiel was separate. And I took a pizza delivery call years after I got out to the FBI building behind Big Spiel in the back part. I was of two minds. I was like looking really forward to it or feeling like this is a trap. They're finally getting me to come to them. But that's not what happened. And it didn't look like a place with a giant fan with a dude with a thing saying, take the elevator. No, it wasn't like that. A guy in a black suit. It wasn't like that. There was a desk and a receptionist and a few crests on the wall and some pictures of the president at the time, vice president, all that. Secretary of Defense, whoever was on the wall, and building permits, oddly enough, in a government building. They're the ones who issue the buildings. What? It's not like they rent from anybody, but there was nothing like that. And they did have double doors behind the desk. And the person came out to get the pizza. It was only file boxes, not even cool file boxes. It didn't look nothing like Indiana Jones back there. I was like, this looks like the back of the pizza place. What is? You do better, you know. And I was messing around, but I was watching. I was very cognizant of what was going on. Cameras all over, and I already knew they were watching me. They had me on so many different cameras throughout the years. I'm still tagged. They're still shadow banning, right? And also, they're watching. So I got away. Come over for coffee, agents. It's all good. Oh, sorry. And but yeah, that right. And let me see here. Okay, pictures from another reality. Got that. But when he told me all the stuff that he'd been through and how his family was involved, he didn't call it Project Stargate. I was like, letting him talk, listening. And I was like, dude, that's Project Stargate. And he goes, huh. I'm like, yeah, you're describing it perfectly. Remote viewing, out of body, astrally projecting to other places. Oh, and one interesting fact, right? I asked him, did you ever meet aliens? Did you ever meet off-worlders? You know what? This was a very interesting answer. He said, I don't know where they were from, but I was more worried about what they were doing. Like his curious human mind didn't want to know because that was not the point. That was a very and no one looks like a person over there. They're all that's when he lost words, right? He kept going back and forth, and he because there's no words to describe what does an energy blob look like. The continuum. I don't know. Nobody can tell. Mariachi's on the bridge of a starship. I don't know, but wait a minute. Hold on a second. Tim's saying in relation to the topic, one time the World Trade Center fell down and the Army sent me a stupid postcard asking me to call the nearest MEPS. I called and told them that I was 5'1" and 300 pounds and said, where do I sign? Love that, dude. So that happened, and he was telling me about all his what he could remember, right? And that you don't worry about where they're from, you worry about what they're doing. That rung true. That sounded just like a military mindset, because um when you're on target, you do the thing. You have no other thoughts for doing outside the lines, right? You do that afterwards. Any notice of any details you notice that um, don't seem pertinent at the time, you ignore. It's filtering, but on a 3D level, right? And that was so amazing to me. And that's he told me all about this. I really want to get him on the show. Shout out you, Josh. I want to get you on the show. Um, because I'm giving you a nutshell version. We stood talking for about an hour and a half. I'm not doing that here, right? Because I don't remember that much, and I want to embellish it. I want to say he went to Mars. He fought all these guys. He was a robot. He had a droid body. No, I don't want to say all that because that didn't happen. I want to get his words, right? I want to get his words. That's like Wi-Fi stuff with the AI generated images. By the way, how did you guys like my AI generated image today for the where are we at? Where did it go? Let me just bring it up the hard way. Why not? But this is ufology, the 31st show on ufology. Yeah, how did y'all like this picture here? I liked it a lot. I asked ChatGPT to make me this picture, and I thought it was pretty good. I thought it was pretty funny because it accurately did it. Yeah, I put it up and didn't even proofread it. It spelled everything correctly. That's cool. I'm glad. And it's funny the camera is like that. It's the camera being seen by the camera. But I said with robots on shelves, and notice they're all humanoid. None of them are astromech, right? None of them are this is an astromech, by the way. This is R5D4 astromech. They're all humanoid. They're not astromech. They're not quadruped. Got the quadrupeds. Got the I call them the minions, the track, the wheeled, and got the big R2s over there. But in the picture, they're all silver, like 50s toys, 10 robots, wind up things. And I do remember Kenneth Pass. Wasn't I have to it does ring a bell. I remember Kenneth Pass. Was that the guy who said he was gonna get rich? I think it was. Don't talk of the Hopi. Don't talk about my people. Don't make fun of my people. And he was like, yo, bro, chill. And but that I like that. And I'm wearing the do not butter the bread of confusion shirt today. The other ones just got washed. So I actually got to go take care of that, but I'll do that at the break. And Diane, I don't know what you're referring to here. I never saw that one. Thought you meant the one with your picture. Not sure. Not sure. Do you mean the robot pictures? The that thing? Okay, yeah. Ken Pass. Yeah, he's a little hard to manage sometimes. And I'm not going to talk to people who are on the extreme end of things as far as their moods go. So I'm sure he has no clue about me or my show. So it's fine. Shout out, I guess, Ken Pass. I'll pass on Ken Pass. So, yeah, this stuff with and universal signs, going back to my friend that moved to Arizona, right? N- eh, She is empathic. She has abilities, but she's been in a bad way mentally for many years. And she was caught in an emotional trap, I guess. And she kept getting with these people who were all very predatory. And I kept telling her, I'm talking over years. Okay. I kept telling her, stop this. Stop this. You don't need this. This is going to hurt you. And all of it did hurt her one way or another. There was this one dude. Oh my God. Never met this guy. He was so far in her head. He had her, and at first it was so nice, but then it was like every time they would talk, she would be crying, calling me about he said so many bad things to me and all this. And I'm like, why are you still talking to this loser? Uh, and then there was another guy. And I'm like, oh my God, okay. No. I have to I have to do arm's distance at this point. And I did. And she knows what I'm talking about. I don't think she's watching, but she knows what I'm talking about. And I had to go arm's length and say, hey, you know, I'll do what I can, but um and that's when the shoes, well, more than that. That was one. I have to think about it. I didn't think about it. I was thinking more about Project Stargate. By the way, links in the description. So many channels have covered Project Stargate, but you know what? Y Files did it really good. And link is in the description for either their channel or that video. I can't remember what I put down there. And I'm going to have more stuff with I'm thinking about doing interviews more, and they may be pre-recorded, but I'm thinking about doing that. And I have 2 cameras. I can put them to use. Why not? And yeah, LA is saying it's very sad to be bait for that sort of trash. Yeah, it is. And that's it. And Gemma said, you're in a cycle. You keep going back to these same things because they keep happening again and again. And I was just looking at her the whole time. Are you hearing her? She's telling you that, right? But hey, Raven, welcome back to the Quantum Show. Raven coming to us from the cat dimension. Welcome back, Raven, in the chat. So, but that, right. And she's not linked to Stargate. He is. And that was amazing. But it all runs together. They're all related to each other, right? And okay, it was just so many signs, so many symbols all around, and they weren't for me. They were for her. They were for her. And I just said, did you see that? Did you see that? The camera went, the camera dialed over that way. I love this thing. Um, but, and then I went to talking to Josh, and he blew my mind telling me about this stuff. Not all the way. Okay. I'm a tough room. Not all the way. I've seen some things too, and I've been through some stuff too. And you know what? I would love to get him to come with me at dusk to the cemetery. Not full nighttime, but at dusk, just for us to walk around. Okay. I want to see how he feels, how he picks up. And, you know, I think I want to, I don't know. I don't know. But I want to take him back there because he's a sensitive. And I don't know if he's ever learned to shield, filter, and focus the way that I found, the way that a lot of us have found it to be effective. I'm sure he has his ways, and his higher self and military self have their ways too. But I would like to really talk to him about this stuff because he has ability. And when he looks at you, he has that kind of look where he's looking through you, reading you, and seeing you. I know how to do that too. I've actually had to tone that down because it makes people uncomfortable. And some of us know what that means. Some of you over here, you know what that means, where you have to tone yourself down because it causes you not to get along with the normal people, right? Well, that was just all of this stuff happened. Boom, boom, boom. Luckily, not like one after the other. Luckily, I was able to space it out a day or two between each other. That was okay. I don't like it when all this stuff pile drives me, but it does seem to happen over 3 or 4 days' time, regardless of the rest of the time. And there's other stuff too. Uh, but okay, Pinky, I don't really know what that means, but that's all right. Yeah, well, maybe. Okay, I'm gonna go read in the chat now. Maybe a time slip. I'm sorry I haven't been looking at the chat too often. I wanted to get this stuff out, right? And I covered all the points that I wanted to cover. Yeah, I titled it at first Universe Messages, but that changed. Now it's Stargate Reality Hiccups and Pathway Signs. And I think all of us have had these experiences, okay? All of us have had these stuff happen to us. Not just time slips, reality slips, all of it. We've all been through portals. We may not even know it, okay? Because you know what's hard to overcome? The filters that we have. It took a hit in the head for me to get rewired so I could perceive these things happening. And now I can perceive these things happening. Oh boy. All you got to do is not be afraid. Decide not to be afraid. It takes a conscious decision, a conscious effort. And then you could do all the same stuff. You don't have to do anything special. Just decide not to be afraid. Say, bring it. You're not going to hurt me. Bring it. And decide, and it will happen. And you will be amazed. No one believes me. And they can't turn off their monkey buttons of fear. But they think it's like a show or entertainment. And that's, you know what, tell you the truth, that's why I have not tried to grow the show. This one right here, no, over here, I have not tried to really grow the show too much because I'm not the dancing clown, right? I'm not. I'm telling you things that I've seen and things that you possibly should pay attention to, or maybe it's in your reality already. However you want to look at it. I'm not telling nobody what to do. However, I also urge no one to ignore any ability because weirdness is also reality. We are here. We are quantum. And that something I wanted to talk about a little bit was the spirit self, the higher self that doesn't age or is so aged, time is irrelevant now because we've been around for so long. Let's see here. I'm trying to keep up with the comments, but it's out of, yeah, I can't. I can't keep up with the comments. It's flying tonight, which is awesome. Thanks, everybody. But that part of us is timeless. And maybe that's why he was remembering those things from when he was 4 years old. But see, his waking mind, his earthbound, I guess, mind, didn't have a context to describe anything like that until he grew up some and got some other experience here on Earth. He said he went to other planets. I'm like, whoa, bro. And all this stuff I was listening, and then it was like I went to other planets. I'm like, Project Stargate, straight up. He didn't call it that. I called it that. Like I said, I got to get these people on. And I would be showing links and things, but oh, do I got a visitor? Visitor? It's been cool. Visitor? Okay. Whoever it was, they were here earlier because the camera kept going that way. How we doing on coffee? I'm almost out. Well, we're almost out at the solo hour. So hold up, y'all. Okay. So that is the quantum stuff. I know what you thought I was going to say, but that is the real weird quantum stuff that happened. Things that were reality jumping, Project Stargate. I'm meeting people. And something else Josh said was he loved the show Stranger Things. And even though somebody came out and says, I made it all up as an author, dude, so did Gene Roddenberry. Now we all got communicators in our pocket. We got tricorders that we just call them cell phones, right? We have pads. We call them iPads and Android pads and tablets and things like that. Now we got a bunch of that stuff. Sliding doors. Well, we had sliding doors back then, but we got sliding doors even better now. And giant TV screens. Thanks, Star Trek. For real. If it wasn't for the view screen monitor in the front of the ships, we wouldn't have it. And, well, Gene Roddenberry made that stuff up too. However, he got it from somewhere. See, I didn't move nothing. I said, however, he got it from somewhere. And the camera went over there. So that author got it from somewhere also. It doesn't need necessarily be the here and the now, because we seem to be stuck in a reality box, a set of frequencies that is locked in on here. And here we go at the very end of the show. Oh my God. In the now. The now is created by the past. We're creating the future now. Pretty cool, huh? Quantum physics is neat. But then how do time slips happen? How do hiccups happen? Jumps, reality to reality. What butterfly spread its wings, beat the air around it, and changed history? We don't know. We're here. But you know what? We are manifesting it as we go along. That's another weird reality. We are manifesting things as we go along. And now I'm going to say vibe attracts vibe. If you, and we all know this, us here on the Quantum Show, all the listeners and all the friends of the show, we all know that when you have a vibe, you attract that vibe. Like attracts like. So if you have a happy vibe, a good, compassionate thing going on, and I hate to sound so syrupy, self-helpy, right? But that's what's going to come to you. If you have a negative, everything sucks vibe, that's what's going to come to you. And it's true. It's 100% true. But, okay. Everybody take a breath. Or maybe it's just me. Everybody, I'm taking a breath. I actually got to do some preparation for the show, but the experiences was preparation enough. I got to tell you. So, me and Amy are out of coffee. Oh man, I gotta start pushing buttons. This has been the Quantum Show. Thank you for coming and hanging out. Go see the links in the description. Gemma Jade, shout out. You rock. You're an amazing person. Go like and subscribe. Even if you have to leave this show, go ahead. Do that. Make it happen, mister. Went over Signs the Universe gives us, Project Stargate, and reality jumping with pictures, and then no pictures. Thanks, everybody. Aussie is now giving me the flashing green light. Please like and subscribe if you're here, your quantum. That goes especially for all you agents, aliens, hybrids, government agents, underground, underwater, in the sky, on the moon, on Mars. Like and subscribe. You're for sure quantum. Thanks, pushing buttons. Thanks, everybody. Epoch. Yeah. There it is right there. There it is right there. Keeping it quantum. I'm glad you all enjoyed it. Pushing buttons, everybody. Pushing buttons. Buttons.